Welcome back, my dear friends. So, with this presentation, I am bringing in one more concept as a continuation of what we are discussing in this IoT course. Uh, Basically, this topic deals with the connectivity principles which is used in internet. Now, a quick background for whatever we have seen so far, so that how whatever we have seen so far is linked with whatever we are going to see here onwards. We have started with the conceptual frameworks, right? Reference models, architecture of your IoT, then certain conceptualization of IoT framework may be given in the form of some equations. Just to recall, physical object plus controller plus internet, which leads to your internet of things. Like that, some more definitions also we have taken, right? So afterwards, we have seen how exactly the network layer comes into picture from the physical layers, right? So there in the physical layer we have seen about the sensors and other things, right? The communication taking place between the machine to machines. Then the data link layer, we have taken the reference of your OSI model, 7-layer model. We have also modified those things as per our requirement in the IoT scenario, right? So after that, we have seen how the things are communicating with each other. uh, we have seen some of the principle behind the communication technologies, right? So some of the protocols also we have seen, some of the characteristic features also we have seen, as long as the different communication technologies that we use in our IoT scenario. Then we have made a comprehensive comparison between the different communication technologies, and I have very categorically told you that our communication technologies there are limited to the physical and data link layer. So once you start moving ahead from your physical and data link layer, so probably see here I have one layer, physical and data link, then the network layer, then comes the application layer, right? So this togetherly I can call it as physical and data link layer. Then this comes as the network layer, and finally this is my application layer, right? So how exactly the communications take place within the physical and data link layer, then how you will pass on the things to your next layer by means of the gateways, again from this layer to another layer by means of the gateways. So this is the basic diagram which should tell you about the interlayer communication. So now, so far whatever we have seen or whatever we have done was concentrated on this particular layer, right? So with respect to this layer, we have seen the aspects which we have discussed of all these days, right? So now slowly we will have to move on to the next layer where your network comes into picture. Definitely, as you go higher and higher in terms of the layered communications, the complexities and other things normally increase. And when it comes to the network layer, so many things, being the electrical and electronics engineering students, we are not in a position to understand as of now, because the network protocols, the network connectivities, what are the different things that come in the network layer, all those things we are too raw to understand those things. So therefore, let me spend little time here so that I will make you conversant with the basic requirements that you are supposed to have whenever we go to the study of the design principle of internet connectivity, right? Somewhere here, once I start doing the communication above the network, right, definitely your internet becomes one of the most inevitable medium for us to have the communication to the higher layers. So that is the reason why I just said whenever I go to discuss about the internet connectivity principle, let us have a small background of how the different communication takes place in the network layer, right? For that, we need to understand some of the basic, definitions as long as the web connectivity is concerned. So here basically I concentrate or I talk on the terms related to web connectivity. This web connectivity serves as the prerequisites. Some of the aspects related to the web connectivity serves as the prerequisite for me so that I can take up the internet communication or the different protocols that you are using in the internet communication in a effective way. Okay, so again some of the things may be repetitive also here, but you have to tolerate because many a times I always feel that some of the terms are not covered, but somewhere they must have been covered. But I will not spend much time here, even though it is repetitive. So you should be in a position to understand these things. So let us start with this definition that is called as the application. Okay, we start from this definition. Basically, this application means it is a software, as you know. Okay, application is a software for the applications like creating and sending maybe an SMS or measuring or sending the data, receiving a message from a specific sender or something like that, right? So whatever the mechanism you have, right, a software mechanism, that is referred to as the application. So this is from where we start all our discussions as long as the design principle of web connectivity is concerned, right? So then we have from this one more that is called API. That is many of you may be knowing about this, application programming interface. API stands for application programming interface. Now please see here, we are talking about some interface here. We have already seen what exactly is an application. Now we are talking about some interface. So interface will come into picture whenever you want to have the communication between two entities. Okay, so what exactly is this application program or programming interface? It is a basically a software component, right, which receives from one particular end. It's a software which receives the information or the message from one end. Why it should receive the information from one end? Again, for the purpose of manipulation or the purpose of sending it to some other layer or something like that, right? So now application or client or input, all these things are called as the application programming interface, right? So you may have GUIs. I think many of you must have come across this word GUI, right? So this GUI stands for graphical user interface, maybe buttons, checkbox, text box, dialog box and other things, right? So these are also maybe part of an API, and this API may get input to or from a server or a user. Please try to understand, we have already discussed about what a server is and who is a user, right? So basically this API, it always likely to get the input to or from a server or user. Once it receives the input, then it initiates the action. What are the actions? It may be sending the message, right, or any kind of action which is related to mutual communication. Okay, so this is what we mean by the application programming interface, right? So then one more we will have, that is called as web service. One more definition, web service. What do you mean by web service? It is basically a servicing software which uses the web protocol, web objects or web sockets, right? So this is the definition of web service. It is a software basically, it uses the web based protocols or the web objects or web sockets. So now let us take one example to understand what exactly is this. So now you may have some weather report surveys, traffic density reports, street light monitoring, the controlling and other things, right? So these are some of the examples of your web service. So now these examples I have taken as per my applications are concerned. Like this, you can make a mention about so many web services in your day-to-day life. Okay, so this is about the web service. Then one more, which is referred to as the objects, right? So everyone know the literal meaning of objects, right? So basically it is the collection of resources. Object here means it is the collection of resources, collection of the data, functions, procedures, and finally what for you are doing this? To operate upon that particular data, right? So you have so many sensors connected in the network. All these things measure some quantity, right? So you consider an industrial scenario where you have deployed different sensors for different purpose, temperature or humidity or whatever it is, pressure, something like that. So there are different sensors located at different localities, right? So when you measure all these things, the outputs of these sensors, right, they are formed in the, or they are available in the form of the objects, right? So this is about the next definition, that is called as the object. Basically it is the collection of resource for the purpose of further manipulation or the further processing as required in our application, right? So now the next definition what we will have is communication gateway. This probably we have already discussed, but we have discussed only about the gateways, not the communication gateways. Now specifically we have the communication gateway. What exactly the communication gateway does? It is serving as the communication protocol converter or the translator for providing the communication capabilities. This is how the communication gateway can be defined, right? It is the protocol, or it functions as the communication protocol translator or the converter for providing communication capabilities. For example, gateway for communication between Zigbee and your internet protocols, so Wi-Fi and your internet protocols, right? Or you may Bluetooth and an internet protocol. So there should be proper compatibility between the two which are operating at a different layers. So this particular compatibility is to be provided by the communication gateway, which is suitably designed for a particular application. Okay, then comes client. Then comes the client. What is the meaning of client here? These are all some of the important terminologies which you are required to know before you go into study the internet related protocols. Again, please note, I keep repeating these things. Whenever you come to the network layer, your internet becomes the inevitable media, right, for us to have the communication between one layer to another layer. So before you go into the internet layer, these are some of the important definitions that you need to study. So that is the reason why I am taking up these things with little time dedicated for this. Okay, what exactly is the meaning of client? Client refers to a software object which makes the request. For what it makes the request? For the data, messages, resources, or the object, right? So now you can compare this client with your the literal meaning of the client also, right? So if I am a client of a shop or of a company, So whatever I need, right, I will have to make the requisition, right? Similar to that, it is a software object in our internet scenario which makes the request for the data, or it could be for the messages, it could be for the resources, or it could be for the objects, right? So now the client may have an API, single API. We have already seen what exactly is the application programming interface. A client may have multiple APIs also for enabling the communication to the server. Ultimately, when I request something, right, so I have to put the communication to the server by means of the communicating mechanism whatever I have. In that process, I may have a single API, I may have multiple APIs also. So a client can be at a device or at the application or the network or the internet connected web, enterprise, server or cloud. The client can be anywhere, right? So don't be under the impression that the client will be at the physical layer. It can be anywhere. The one who demands, or who, what you can call as makes the request, right, for the data, message, resource or object is called as the client. So when it is for the making of the request, its location can be anywhere. That is what we mean by the client. Okay, so after having seen the client, let us look into the next one, that is the server. Probably about the server also we have seen earlier. It is a software which sends a response on a request, right? Please try to correlate all these things. Client gives the requisition for the service, your server gives the response for that particular request, right? The server can also send the messages, as you know, alerts can be sent, notifications can be sent, and definitely the server will have the access to the resources, the database as well as the object. Then only it is possible for the server to send the messages, alerts as well as the notification, right? The server could be on a device, right? It can be on a separate computer system, not necessarily on the internet connected web. It can be anywhere, right? So probably these things we have seen when we discussed about our basic communication terminologies, where we have seen the servers. Okay, then the next one, very important, right? So I will write it here. That is called as the communication protocol. Communication protocol. All these words appear to be repetitive, but it is very essential according to me to keep looking at these words every time when they appear, right? So what do you mean by communication protocol? Basically it is the rule, correct? It is the set of rules or something like that, right? And conventions for communication between the networked devices and the system, right? You have the networked devices, so you should be in a position to now understand what exactly I mean by a network. We have got the system, we have got the network. So between the system and the networked devices, whatever the rules are defined or whatever the conventions are defined, they are coming under the communication protocol. Slowly we are getting inclined towards the internet protocols, which have the communication protocols at the background. Okay, so the protocols include mechanisms for the devices or the systems to identify and make the connection with each other, right? So this is where we have also defined the protocols in a general sense when we have discussed our previous topic, right? So now what do you mean by this protocols? Basically it could be the formatting rules that specify how the data is packaged into sent and received messages. It could be in the form of the headers, it could be in the form of fields and also their messages, right? So now when I speak about the data, okay, So let us say that the data is something like this. I have got an 8-bit data, right? So this also I have told earlier that whenever this 8-bit data is required to be sent somewhere, it will not be sent at only at the 8-bit. It may have some different fields added to this, headers and other things, what exactly they specify, right? So now this is available in the form of a packet. This is available in the form of a packet, right? So these packets, how they should look like, right? And what exactly are the different fields available in this packet, right? What exactly they mean, all these things come under the communication protocol. So this is another important point to be noted, the communication protocol, which basically sets the rules and conventions. Okay, so now after having seen the communication protocol, now let us go into the next one, that is called as the web protocol. Communication protocol serves as the basic, right, for us to derive the web protocol. So what do you mean by web protocol, right? It is the protocol that defines again the rules and conventions between the web server and web client. You can see here server and client. We have already seen the communication protocols. It is between the network devices or the networked devices and the system, right? Specifically now we are defining about the web protocol, which is going to define the rules and conventions for the communication between the web servers and web clients, right? So let us not go into much details of this. The only thing you try to understand that for the communication between the web server and web client, whatever the conventions or whatever the set of rules are there, they are called as the web protocol. Okay, so now once you see the web protocol, then we will have one more definition, that is called as firewall. Okay, firewall, probably some of you, at least some of you, should be able to get, right, what exactly is the firewall, right? It is that protects the server from unauthentic resources, right? The DANS Guardian, you must be knowing about the DANS Guardian, or you maybe have so many such firewalls, right? So that the server is protected from unauthentic resources, right? So that you have a lot of the security issues and other things, right? In order to take care that your system integrity is retained, the firewalls are used, right? So maybe nowadays we even see that sometimes these firewalls are also broken by these hackers and other things. Again, how strong is your firewall, that all depends upon who provides the firewall and how much is the security of the overall system that has been designed, right? Let us not go into much details as long as the firewall is concerned for the time being. Okay, now with these things, let us move on to one more important definition, which is called as path. Okay, this is called as path. Okay, what do you mean by path here, right? So basically the path denotes a navigation between the two ends when accessing a resource. See, so many devices will be trying to communicate with so many other devices in an internet system or in a web or the net connected system, right? So a particular device accessing a particular other device should be always enrouted to or enrouted through a proper path. Okay, so that is the reason why it is the navigation between the two ends when accessing the resource. And now how do you have this path defined? Now we come across some important things which we generally come across in our day-to-day life, that is called as URI or URL. One more, right? So what do you mean by URI? Universal Resource identifier. Universal resource identifier, right? So what do you mean by this? What do you mean by URI, universal resource identifier, right? It is generally used for, you know, the saved resources. Basically this URI is hierarchical, right? I will tell you what exactly is the meaning of hierarchical, right? So it is used for the saved resources such as contacts or the address books, right? So now for example, you have something like this backslash, let me write it as contacts, right? Bar, you know, the first character, something like this, right? So first character, say underscore s, for example, right? So now when I have these things, this is basically going to take us to the contacts with the first character is equals to s, or first character is s. So this is for the purpose of searching. Basically it is referring to the saved contacts, right, or the address book. So this is called universal resource identifier, right? So there is something which is required to be identified, right? So now one more example if I want to give. Now let us take the example which we may be familiar with. I have got say some 100 sensors located at different positions, right? So out of some 100 sensors, say about 40 sensors may be temperature sensors, some 30 sensors may be humidity sensors, right? Or some another 30 sensors may be speed sensors in an industrial scenario or something like that. You have read all the data, you have put it in some database which are in the form of the objects which we have taken earlier, right? So now if I want to locate the sensors which have measured only speed, okay, then to speed above say 1500 rpm, for example, right? So it is possible for us to locate them with the help of universal resource identifier. The resource is already there, you need to identify them with the help of the proper syntax here, right? So whenever we have this slash or the backslash, okay, or sorry, this is the front slash, it is not the backslash, right? Whenever we make something, right, let us say it is like this, okay, whatever we have before this sign, right, is called child. Sorry, this is called parent, and after this whatever we have called, it is called as the child, right? So the meaning is that in the set of parent, your child is the subset. That could be in a very general sense you can take, right? So this is how the things look like, right? So you have got the contacts here, right? Then the first character with s, so which is a subset of the large contacts whatever you have, right? That they are specifically called as the parent and child. Whichever is before that slash, it is called as the parent. After the slash, it is called as the child. Okay, this is about the URI, universal resource identifier. Now one more important here is called as URL. All of you may be knowing about this, right? URL. URL. So what is the meaning of URL? Universal resource locator. Universal resource remains same, but now it is the locator, right? So now when you say that the locator, the identifiers function and locators functions are different, right? So universal resource locator, it is generally used for retrieving a resource or retrieving the resources by a client, right? So the saved resources may be at the document or at a remote server accessed using the internet protocols. So that is where we generally come across these URLs, right? Most of you know what do we mean by URL, right? So you have, for example, write HTTP colon, right, slash or two slashes, right, something like that, right, hdmcet dot ac dot in, right? So now when I type this yes, http colon double slash hdmcet dot ac dot in, right, you know what exactly happens when you enter, right? So it will take to our website. That is what I meant by it is used to retrieve a resource by a client, and the saved resources may be at a document or at a remote server accessed using the internet protocols, right? So now afterwards you can have here, right, suppose now if you want to have some more thing like, right, so info, something like that, right, info on admission or something like that. When I uh, hit on this, it will directly take you to the admission. It will not make you to go to the home page. It will take you to the admission, right? So here one more important thing, HTTPS, right? So please try to understand the difference between what exactly we mean by HTTP and HTTPS. So this is for you to think over. I am not going to tell you right now, right? These things are properly to be understood, right? So because you make lot of transactions and other things in your day-to-day life, right? So this is what we mean by universal resource locator, right? So these are some of the important things that we need to understand here, right? So URL, URI, then there will be one more thing, right, which probably this is the right time for me to tell you about that. That is called as hypertext. Hypertext, right? So hypertext, what do you mean by hypertext? Everybody knows what do you mean by text, but what do you mean by hypertext, right? It is the text embedded with hyperlinks. You know what are hyperlinks? Okay, hypertext is basically the text embedded with hyperlinks. So from this hypertext, we come across the word which is called as HTTP. What do you mean by HTTP? Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Hypertext Transfer Protocol, right? So here I have already written on top http colon double slash sdmcet.ac.in, right? So what exactly your HTTP means there? That is a very important point to be noted, right? It is an application layer protocol for the use of hypertext as app data transfer protocol. Client and servers use the URLs starting from HTTP, right? So that means it is the application layer protocol, right? Please try to understand, it is the application layer protocol for the use of hypertext. So I have already told you what do you mean by the hypertext. It is the text embedded with the hyperlinks. Okay, so you may have so many resources there as per your requirement. So again, so you should understand what exactly we mean by the hyperlink, right? The hyperlink refers to a specification of the URL for a resource path so that a link can be established between the two objects, right? So now hyperlink URL specifications for some this admission. Okay, so when I write like this, right, http colon double slash sdmcet.ac.in, if I write only that much, it will take you to our main page of the website. Suppose if you want specifically go to one of the inner pages there, one of the inner objects which you want to access, then you write the subsequent things like info on admission. It is not there right now, right? Maybe you can find out some of the other things from our website, right? So that is what we mean by hyperlink, right? So now suppose if you start preparing a PDF document or a Word document, right? So you want to show some table, but which should not be in your main document, but it is at the back end somewhere, right? So you can write table, and if you insert a hyperlink, if you click on that, you will be able to access to that table. That means the main document will become as compact as possible. If at all it is necessary for you to see those things, then only you will be clicking on the hyperlinks and you will be looking at those things. Otherwise, if you feel that it is not necessary, you can carry forward with the remaining things. That is what is the meaning of hyperlink. Okay, so this is one important thing. Then from here we come across one more important thing, that is called as HTML. So that is called as hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. It is the language for creating hypertext, right, which refers to the text that embeds the text, images, audios, videos, frames, forms, lists, tables, navigation links, in the form of the reference to some resources. It could be APIs and whatnot. Whatever you come across in our internet scenario, it is possible for us to refer to all those things, right? It is a language for creating the hypertext. The HTML is basically language for creating the hypertext. So this is one important point to be noted, right? So HTML page, right? Hypertext markup language. So many of you are very much familiar with this HTML pages and all, right? So then with this probably we should stop now, right? I think I have taken more time than what is allotted. So now based on these things, if you have any doubt or any clarification, please get back to me. So some more things along with this, what are very essential for us to understand before we go into the internet connectivity, that we shall see in our next presentation, and with that background we will go to the design principle of internet connectivity. I will stop here. Thank you.